Welcome to my channel. This is JC Rock and Metal Reviews. My name is John, and today I have a response video to a video made by Gary at Physical Format Rock and Roll. Gary chose his top 5 Judas Priest albums, so I decided I would make a video giving my top 5. So my list is going to be a little different than his. I think we agreed on only 2 of our top 5, so make sure you watch his video after mine. The link will be in the video description. Before I start, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I do rock and metal reviews, rankings, and more. If you would like to purchase an album through Amazon, I will be leaving my affiliate links in the description. The first time I heard Judas Priest was when I was a teenager. Let's say like the late 80s. I used to watch Headbangers Ball on MTV, and they would always play the Breaking the Law music video. I guess they didn't catch my attention at first. I never went out and bought any of their albums at this point. I remember I had a part-time job, and a coworker lent me her Priest Live cassette for me to listen, and that was really my first introduction to the band. Also at that time, the band had a lot of negative press with the allegations of using like subliminal messages in their songs. So as a teenager, that probably kind of like made me stay away from them. Before I begin my top 5, I would like to give a few honorable mentions. So the first is British Steel from 1980. This is a solid metal album with 2 of their biggest songs, Breaking the Law and Living After Midnight. There are a few cool deep cuts like Grinder and Don't Have to Be Old to Be Wise. I think it was let down a little by the song United. That one I really didn't like too much. My second honorable mention is Screaming for Vengeance from 1982. So this one almost made my top 5, but just missed it. It has the big hits You've Got Another Thing Coming and Electric Eye. This is probably a good example of their signature sound, and if you're like a newcomer to the band, something just to kind of check out, just to get a good sample of their sounds. Right, now for my number 5 pick. Angel of Retribution. So this might surprise you. It's in my top 5, and at first I wasn't going to include it, but I gave it another listen yesterday, and it's a really complete album. The songs on the album represent Judas Priest at their best. The songs are more reminiscent of the sound of the 70s and 80s, and a few of the songs have a kind of like a unique sound to them. Well, this is their comeback album with Rob Halford. Their last album with Rob was Painkiller in 1990. After that, they released 2 albums with a new vocalist, Tim Ripper Owens. The band went into a heavier direction for those 2 albums, probably more of like a groove metal-oriented sound. Many bands do not like those 2 albums, but this album was definitely a return to form. There are a few classic Judas Priest songs, such as Judas Rising and Deal with the Devil. There's a ballad called Angel that really brings back the sound of their Sad Wings of Destiny album. And the song that really sealed the deal for me was the closer, Loch Ness. So this is a 13-minute song. Sounds unlike anything I've ever heard from them. It's this epic doom metal and probably more similar to a band like Black Sabbath. So next I have a classic. I have Defenders of the Faith. So this is one of their classics. It has a few of their most popular songs: Free Will Burning, Some Heads Are Gonna Roll, and Love Bites. This album caused a little bit of controversy with the song Eat Me Alive. The PMRC at the time had the song on their Filthy 15 list of offensive songs that you should not let your teenagers listen to. The album is killer start to finish. It's another album that has their signature sound. Most fans would say that this album, along with Screaming for Vengeance, represent Judas Priest at the top of their game. But I have 3 more albums that for me are my favorite. So at this point, the number 1 is probably obvious, you know what that is. But these next 2 will probably surprise you. So next, I have Firepower. So this is their most recent album, and it was really a return to form. For those of you paying attention to my background, you probably knew this was going to come up at some point. I recently purchased this not too long ago, and I got a pretty good deal on it through Amazon. So here's the CD. Check it out. And the booklet is really cool. It has lyrics. So there. So lyrics to all the songs. Now, many people would say that this is their best album since Painkiller. You know, Firepower and Lightning Strike are songs that have a classic Judas Priest sound. Never the Heroes is great, has real like anthemic quality. Spectre has a very memorable riff. No Surrender is very catchy, very memorable song. This album is like an hour long, but it's a type of album you listen start to finish. It doesn't feel like a long album because all the songs are good. There's no filler. It's straightforward heavy metal, start to finish, and for that reason is my number 3 pick. Now, this next one is going to surprise you. Turbo. So you're probably thinking, why are you putting Turbo at number 2? So isn't this hair metal or glam metal? Or yeah, but the songs on this album are very enjoyable, start to finish. It's very fun. It has a different sound. It's different lyrically. You know, it's mostly like love songs. And the album has most of their like catchy and memorable songs, such as like Private Property and Parental Guidance. So the song Parental Guidance was allegedly like a response to the PMRC, with the whole deal with Eat Me Alive in their list and all that. This is an album I go back to a lot. It has this heavy like guitar synth sound, but the music is good. The songwriting is top notch. And this is another one of those albums I listen to start to finish, you know, very often. And of course, my last one is, you know, the most obvious one, that is Painkiller. So I think this is kind of one of those like love it or hate it kind of albums for a typical Judas Priest fan. And you know, many fans would say that this is their favorite, one of the best metal albums of all time. This is kind of like up there along with Master of Puppets and Rust in Peace from Megadeth as like their all-time favorite metals of all time. I'm probably like one of those who would consider this one of my favorites, you know, of all time, you know, as far as metal goes. Now, it's a different album. It's more of like a speed metal sound. This is like Judas Priest at their heaviest at the time, probably their heaviest of their entire catalog. I think it became popular because their previous album, Ram It Down, was a fairly weak album. And this album brought down like a fresh new sound and people were really like waiting for it. The music video for the title track Painkiller came out and you heard that just like drum intro that immediately just like drew you in and made you want to hear the rest of the album just to see what was going on. And that is it. Now make sure just go straight to Physical Format Rock and Roll. Watch his video. The link is in the description. I'm just going to ramble on for another 30 seconds just to close out the video, and that's about it. Again, like I always say at the end, please subscribe, comment below, give me your top 5 for Judas Priest. I will be linking some of my other videos that are related to this one. I have another Judas Priest video that I did recently. And as always, stay heavy, and I will see you in the next one.